Good afternoon, attendees. Welcome to the Osteoporosis and Fall Prevention Festival organized by Satacom Health. I'm Dalila, your host for today. Let us welcome our distinguished speaker, Ms. Choo, a dietitian with 30 years of experience from Satacom Health, who will be sharing about nutrition for good bone health. Ms. Choo received a Bachelor of Home Science from the University of Otago, New Zealand, and a postgraduate diploma in dietetics from Leeds Polytechnic in the UK. Take note that you're only able to ask questions during the Q&A session at the end of the talk, either through the chat box, Q&A chat box, or you can raise your hand so that we can unmute you. Now, I'll pass the time to Ms. Choo.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining in. Let me open my slides and then we will start. The topic for my talk today is called Nutrition for Good Bone Health. So my name is Choo. I'm a dietitian at Satacom Health. So I'd like to start off with asking you a question. All right, at your age, are your bones still absorbing calcium and making it stronger? Now, as soon as we are born, our bones start absorbing calcium from the food that we take. But it will come a point in time where the bones will stop absorbing calcium, right? So in order to answer this question, we have to ask another one, right? And that would be, at what age do the bones stop absorbing calcium? Now take a guess. Now, do you think it's 16 years or 35 years, 50 years, 75 years? It is 20 years, right? So you can answer the question, whether your bones are still absorbing calcium. Now, this is a graph called the peak bone mass. Let me explain to you the bone growth during a lifespan, all right? Now, the vertical line you see here is increasing bone mass. Okay? It gets stronger and greater in quantity as the line goes up. The horizontal line represents age, from the time that we are born at 0 and then all the way to 100 years, right? Now, the dotted black line represents the bone growth for men, and the red line represents the bone growth for women, okay? All right, so from the time that we are born, the bones absorb calcium up to the age of about 20 years. So this point is called the peak bone mass. At this point, the bones will close the window and it cannot absorb any more calcium. So from 20 years to about 35 years old, the bone mass and the calcium mass remains stable, right? It can't get stronger, but it doesn't deteriorate, right? So it remains stable. Now you can note that in general, men's bones are stronger than women's bones, right? So you can see the men's bones here are higher up in the bone mass, and then for women. Now, from 35 years of age, unfortunately, it's really down the road. We start to lose bone, we start to lose calcium. So for women, there is a rapid bone loss at around menopause, right? So at this age, we lose a lot of calcium and we lose bone until the point that the bones become weak and it gets to the stage what we call the fracture threshold. This is where it is so weak that if you have a slight fall, the bones will fracture easily. And for women, the risk is already high in our 60s. Yeah. Now, if you look for men, the bone loss is very gradual. They don't have this rapid bone loss at any period of time. Very gradual until perhaps if ever their bones are weak and they are at the fracture threshold, they are close to 90 years old, right? So what will happen if my bones do not have enough calcium? They will become osteoporotic. So you can see a cross-section of an osteoporotic bone on the right-hand side. Now, osteoporosis means porous bones. So you can see in the middle, this is the calcium matrix. It is very porous indeed, yeah, very loose and with big gaps. So it is very porous and not strong at all. So the perimeter itself is also thin and not strong. Now on the left-hand side, you can see a cross-section of a normal bone. The calcium matrix in the middle looks very dense, very compact. So very strong, yeah. And the rim is pretty sturdy and strong as well. So what is our calcium requirement? It depends on your age, right? Now, if you're 50 years and younger, you need 800 milligrams of calcium. If you are 51 years and older, you need 1,000 milligrams of calcium. Now, this recommendation is for Singaporeans. Yeah, every country has its own recommendation. So sometimes you may read articles on the internet, and then it looks like the numbers are different. All right, in terms of calcium requirement. Yeah, just remember every country is different. So if I am 51 years and older, I would need 1,000 milligrams, yeah? So just an example, this glass of milk here has about 300 milligrams of calcium. So just as an example, if I have to make sure that I get enough calcium from milk, how many glasses would I need to take to meet 1,000 milligrams? It would have to be 3, all right? 3 glasses of milk. And this is 3 glasses every day, you know? It's not 3 glasses a week, 3 glasses a month. It is every day. It is a lot of milk, yeah? And you know, in Singapore, Asians on the whole, we are not great milk drinkers, either because we don't like it or that we don't digest it very well. Some of us are allergic to it. Some of us get, you know, some loose stools with it. And basically, we don't feel that we need to drink so much milk. Yeah, otherwise we think we will put on too much weight. But thankfully, milk is not the only food that is high in calcium. Yeah, so I will show you what the other foods are. Now, if you are 50 years and younger, and you need to have about 800 milligrams of calcium, it would be 2 glasses of milk, right? So between 2 or 3 glasses, depending on age. Now, these are examples of other foods that are high in calcium. So top of the list would be milk and dairy products like yogurt and cheese. The other good food group will be fish with edible bones, right? Like ikan bilis or anchovies and sardines, okay? Now, these 2 are the best because the calcium is very concentrated and it's in the very easily absorbable form, right? So they become very good sources for us. You can get calcium from plant sources, and you can get them from soybean products like tofu and some vegetables like broccoli, spinach, kailan. But the calcium in plants are not as compact and concentrated, and the absorption is not as good as the animal foods like dairy products and fish, but they can be valuable. Yeah, if you are vegetarian and you need to depend on plant foods for calcium. Right, so I'm going to get off the slides now and show you some food products. Okay, so don't leave, yeah, I haven't finished. Okay, so just a little while when I'm just going to get off the slides. Oops. Okay, right. So I was telling you about high calcium foods. Now, many of us know that cow's milk is high in calcium and it's good for the bones. But you know, many of us Asians in Singapore, we have not a great ability to digest milk. We may not be allergic, but as we get older, we find that we can't digest milk very well. It is an intolerance to digesting milk and to breaking down lactose, which is milk sugar. So when lactose is not broken down, what it does is that it creates a lot of gas and we get a little bit of loose stools, okay? So if you're like me, I have this problem. I was never allergic to milk. I enjoy milk, but I find that at my age now, I have to switch. And my recommendation is that you do not stop taking cow's milk just because you think that it doesn't digest well. The solution is to choose lactose-free milk. And thankfully, you find that in the supermarkets lately, it is very easily available, right? In most supermarkets. Now, I've tried 2 brands, so I'll just show you, okay? You can see, so this is Meiji, fresh milk that's lactose-free, right? This is one brand I've tried. And this is Farm Fresh, lactose-free fresh milk, All right. Now, both are very pleasant. They taste like fresh milk. It's not reconstituted. And I find that since I've started taking it, it's been a lot easier on my digestion. Now, the alternative is that if you wish to not take cow's milk, or if you're vegan or vegetarian, then the alternative is to take plant-based milks. Now, these, of course, do not contain cow's milk, but it's just the name. Is a drink that's made from grains. Now, of all the plant-based milks that I've tried, I really like this one. This is from oats. Okay, so it's an oat drink, and it's from Oatly. And I find that this is the most pleasant in terms of having with coffee. Now, I enjoy having my cup of coffee in the morning, and I find that this oat drink really just goes very well with it. And it's fine. You add it to cereals, or when you cook some oats, it's very, very tasty, nice. Okay, so these are alternatives. Now, so of course, if at the back of your mind, remember that you need to have how many portions, yeah? According to your age, either 2 or 3 portions. So 1 glass of milk. So whether it is normal full cream milk or a lactose-free milk is 1 cup, 250 mils. Now, instead of 1 cup of milk, you could have yogurt. So this is Dairy Farmers, 150 grams. Now, equivalent to 1 cup of milk, if you were going to have yogurt, is 1.5. Right? Yeah, so I'm not saying that you must eat 1.5 cups. It's just that we need to realize the quantity that we need to realize the amount of calcium. Okay, so if we don't have 1.5 cups, it's okay. You just have whatever you need, and the balance should be half a portion from another food. Okay, so apart from yogurt, it would be like, for example, cheese. Right, so this is processed cheese, and it would have to be 2 slices. So instead of 1 cup of milk or 1.5 cups of yogurt, it will be 2 slices of processed cheese. Or it can be soybean milk. Okay, now this is Nutri-Soy soybean milk. Now, can you see? It has got to be high calcium. All right. Now, market soy milk is not high in calcium. Yeah, it's a nice beverage, but if we need to depend on calcium-enriched soy milk, it has got to be from the supermarket, from the cold section. There are many brands, yeah. So this is just one brand. And if you worry about the sugar content, you can go for reduced sugar, like this one. It says reduced sugar, right, or unsweetened, okay? Now, instead of soybean milk, it can be firm tofu. Oh dear, I don't think you can see this. And the tau kwa is actually white as well. And the background is white. So, okay, I don't think you can quite see this, but this is one block of a large tau kwa, or firm beancurd. So you possibly can't see how big it is. It's huge. And so it's okay. When you buy firm tofu or tau kwa from the supermarket, it's usually 2 large pieces. And equivalent to the amount of calcium in 1 cup of milk is 1 large piece of tau kwa. It's a huge piece, you know. For myself, very hard for me to finish 1 whole piece. So it helps us to appreciate that if we need to depend on plant food for calcium, the quantity is really quite big. And so we have to appreciate it. By all means, we can't finish 1 block of tau kwa or tofu. You take how much you can, but you need to perhaps balance it with getting calcium from another food. So which is why a calcium-enriched soy milk is a much more manageable choice. Yeah. Okay, then ikan bilis. I don't think you can quite see this too. It's all right. Oh, okay, not bad. 2 tablespoons. All right, 2 tablespoons of ikan bilis. I think if they are crispy, if they are crispy, I think not too bad. The only problem with the ikan bilis is, of course, the high salt content. So if you cook at home, then soak it in a little bit of water, yeah, to get rid of the excess salt. And finally, sardines. Okay, now this is one of my favorite brands. Okay, this is Ayam brand sardines. Most people are shocked that I would recommend a canned food. I think there's nothing wrong. Not all canned food are unhealthy, but I particularly like this Ayam brand sardines because it's affordable, and the processing is a lot healthier. They don't put additional preservatives and unnecessary seasonings. And the way that it's being packaged these days is very modern. When I was growing up, I remember only sardines in tomato sauce, yeah? And of course, because of the tomato sauce, it brings in quite a bit of salt. But this is packed in olive oil, okay? Extra virgin olive oil. Yeah, so it's very tasty and equivalent to 1 cup of cow's milk is just 1 sardine fish. Usually in a can, there is about maybe 4 or 5 pieces. It's just 1 sardine fish. And if you have that with some sliced onions and chili and with a slice of toast, it's very, very nice. Yeah, nice for breakfast or a light lunch. Okay, all right. Now I'm going to go back to the slides. Okay, stay tuned. Oops. Okay, we are back. All right, so in summary, at the back of your mind, remember 2 portions a day or 3 portions a day, and 1 portion is as follows as what I had illustrated. All right, so 1 portion is 250 mils, 1 cup of cow's milk, whether it's full cream, low fat, skim, lactose free, or 200 grams of yogurt, like what I showed you, 1.5 small pots. Yeah, so again, you don't have to take 1.5 pots at one go. If you can only take 1 pot, okay, the balance of the calcium can come from another food. Or cheese, and this is processed cheese, it's 2 slices. Okay, so 1 portion is also an example, the oat drink, which is a little less than 1 cup, 200 mils. Or high calcium soya milk is also at 200 mils, which is like 3/4 of a cup. So you notice that when a drink is fortified with calcium, the quantity is usually a little bit less. Yeah. All right, and the firm tofu is 1 large piece as 1 portion. Yeah. So if you have half of that, then you could have half from something else. Or ikan bilis, 1 portion is 2 tablespoons or 1 sardine fish. All right. So in a day, we are encouraged to have any of these foods in the amounts. So for example, for myself, I would need 3 portions. Okay. I need 1,000 milligrams a day. So I would choose a lactose-free milk, which is 250 mils, like 1 cup. And I would choose 1 portion of an oat drink, 200 mils. And then I would choose 1 sardine fish, 1 example. Okay. Another day could be 3 different foods as well. Yeah, so it doesn't matter, right? It's not easy. I think it's not easy to every day make sure that we have the required amount, but we try our best. Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, in addition to calcium, we need to have enough vitamin D. Yeah, and it's found in cod liver oil, liver, margarine, eggs, full cream milk, cheese, butter, and in canned fish. So when we choose milk and we choose sardines, for example, for calcium, you will have vitamin D in it as well, right? Now, if you find that you are allergic to many of these foods, you don't enjoy eating it, and you don't wish to take any of these foods, then of course, the alternative is that you can get vitamin D manufactured on your skin, right? Get some sunlight on it. So expose your face and arms for about 20 minutes, about 2 to 3 times a week. Okay, now there is no need to suntan for hours. Yeah, that kind of prolonged exposure of UV rays are not good for the skin. So do get some sunlight on your skin. Now, a little mention about calcium supplements, because invariably most people will ask me about that. Now, if I'm not going to pay attention to having 2 or 3 portions of a high calcium food, and if I take a calcium supplement, would that be the same? Yeah. Okay. So some information about calcium supplements. Now, the recommendation is always about taking natural sources of food for nutrients first. Always. Because when you take a natural food, it does not give you just 1 nutrient. It gives you hundreds of nutrients, many of which are involved and work together for health benefit. So same with taking milk, you do not just get calcium, you get vitamin D as well, right? Now, apart from making sure that you get natural sources first, then if you need to supplement after, then okay, you can, okay? But the question is then how much do we take? It's not a matter that I just go to pharmacy and I just pick any calcium supplement. How much of a level of supplement do we need? Yeah, because if we are not careful and we take a way excessive amount of calcium supplement, it can cause kidney stones, right? Now, so if you feel that you need to have a supplement because you will not take any of the foods and you don't like any of the foods that are high in calcium, see your family doctor first, right? Get a referral to do a bone density test, okay? And this is a DEXA test. Incidentally, some of the SATA clinics do have this machinery to be able to do the bone density test. Yeah, so very simple. It's a simple test to test bone density. Then from there, the doctor is able to make an assessment to see what your calcium requirement is like. Okay, so don't go on your own to just simply buy a calcium supplement. Calcium supplements are also prescribed by the doctor for a medical need, for example, for osteoporosis. So if you are prescribed supplements, then please you must take them, okay? So going on from food, let's talk a little bit about exercises. Now, it's never all about just food. There are exercises that are important together that help to build bone, right? So what kind of exercises? These are weight-bearing exercises, right? And what are they? It is any activity performed standing up, okay? So when your feet and legs support your weight, your bones work harder, making them stronger. And the simplest weight-bearing exercise is walking, right? Hippocrates was a famous Greek physician in 500 BC, and this was one of his most famous quotes: "Walking is man's best medicine." Okay, it is so true. All right, just need to walk. Now you may think you need to jog or run. No, if you like to, of course you can, but just walking will do. Now, apart from walking, there are other examples of weight-bearing exercises, and that would be like, for example, dancing or Tai Chi, right? Okay, wait. Oops. Uh-oh. No, it's not moving forward. Just a minute. Technical issue here. Uh-oh, stop sharing. You go back. No. The end. Yeah, this one. You open it. Not share screen. You open the profile. Is it this one? Yep. Okay. You share screen after that. Right. You go back. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. So I was mentioning that break for weight-bearing exercises, that walking is very easy form of exercise. Apart from that would be like dancing or Tai Chi, okay? Now, cycling and swimming are not weight-bearing, but it's good for the heart. So the recommendation is to have a variety of activities, yeah? Not just do one type, you know, perhaps if you swim and you only swim, then I would suggest that you try to have a variety. Unless you've been advised by your doctor not to do too much weight-bearing exercise because of a knee or ankle issue, then of course you listen to that advice. But yeah, I'm referring to those of us who are just generally well, that we should have a variety of exercises including the weight-bearing ones. Okay, so I keep finding this all over the house. My doctor says that bone loss is normal at my age. Yes, it is true. And you have learned today from the age of 35 years, yeah, we start losing bone. Yeah, we start losing calcium, but we can still look after ourselves. And I think it's very important that we don't neglect bone health. Okay, so remember, according to your age, whether you need 2 or 3 portions of a high calcium food, together with that, some weight-bearing exercises like walking, and get some sunlight on your skin, right? Thank you. So we'll have questions now. Q&A. Oh, okay. Okay, so let me go through some of the questions here you've put down already. So the first one is, if one is already taking calcium tablet supplement for 1,000 milligrams daily, does calcium-rich food drinks still help or too much? Yes, I think if you will decide to include some calcium-rich foods, then you can reduce your calcium supplement. Okay, so if you are 51 years and older and you need 1,000 milligrams, then you do not need to take 1,000 milligrams supplement. You can take less, yeah? Okay, so for ikan bilis, do we need to take the bone? Yes, yeah, we don't pick up the bones. We have to take the bones, yeah? All right, which is a healthier choice, butter or margarine? Well, you know, they're on par, really. Yeah, so I would not say that butter is a lot less healthy or margarine is a lot healthier. They're really on par. So it's just that when we need to use them, and just don't take too much. Yeah, both are fine. Yeah. It's already stopped. Okay. Okay, let me just go to the top. Okay, what foods to be taken to increase bone density? So that was the high calcium food that I mentioned. Yeah, the important thing is the quantity. Yeah, so that is why I talk quite a bit about knowing how much we need to take according to our age. Yeah, so whether it's 2 or 3 portions. You can find this lactose-free milk in most supermarkets. I got them from Cold Storage, but I think in NTUC Fair Price, NTUC Ferrous, it shouldn't be a problem. I think maybe the smaller NTUC outlets, sometimes you might not find it there, yeah, but the Ferrous, yes, definitely. Could I show the last pack of milk? Okay, which is the last pack? You're referring to oat drink? This is oat drink. The brand is Oatly, yeah, it's Swedish. But I showed the Meiji lactose-free milk, yeah, and Farm Fresh. Oops, the other way. Yeah. Farm Fresh lactose-free milk, yeah. Okay. Okay, how about canned tuna? Now, yeah, no, canned tuna is not in the same category as sardines, because with sardines, I think I didn't mention you have to take the bones. Yeah, no, tuna will not be in the same category as sardines. So is calcium in 1 cup of soya milk equals to 1 cup of cow's milk? Yes. In fact, for soya milk, 3/4 of a cup is equals to 1 cup of cow's milk. But it has to be the calcium fortified high calcium soya milk. Okay, not market LH3. Yeah. Okay. Does oat drink contain calcium? Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't mention that. It is fortified with calcium, as with most plant-based milks like rice dream, almond milk. They are all fortified with calcium. So there are excellent alternatives. Yeah, so it's according to your taste. So you mentioned that after age 50 can't absorb calcium. So how does it help our bones if we take calcium food? So after age 51 years old, as we get older, the absorption of calcium is reduced. We still do absorb calcium, but it's not as good as when we were much younger, right? And so the reason why we still need to take calcium is basically to replace what we lose and to maintain our blood calcium as well, which helps to maintain our nerves and and our blood vessels. Yeah, so that is why we still need to have enough calcium. If we can't take cold milk, is there any recommendation for milk powder? Yes, of course. You can take milk in any form, whether it is fresh, cold, UHT, powder, doesn't matter. Yeah. How about UHT milk instead of fresh? Yes, perfectly fine. No difference in terms of the amount. 1 cup of fresh milk and 1 cup of UHT milk is exactly the same. The only difference is the taste. It's because of the processing. Yeah, UHT has a slightly longer heat treatment, and so the taste of the milk is different compared to fresh milk, and that's why maybe fresh milk tastes the best. Or fresh milk only has a very quick flash treatment just to kill bacteria, and so the taste is perhaps the nicest. Is taking ikan bilis in the fried stage okay? Yes, no problem. Will the vitamins be eroded? No, I wouldn't think so. Is it effective if I use sunblock? Yes, I suppose. I don't know whether, I'm not sure if sunblock will prevent. No, I think it should be fine because the sunblock basically just prevents the UV rays. Yeah, should be all right. But it's only for 20 minutes. I don't think you really need to have sunblock applied on your skin every time you go for a brief walk. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So understand processed cheese has high saturated fats percentage. Yes. So cheese has a higher fat content. So that's true. So on one hand, we really don't want to be eating a massive amount of cheese, although it's high in calcium. So it is a good choice, but yeah, we want to moderate our intake for cheese. Yeah. Is 10,000 steps a day enough if one is 55 years old? Yes, that's a very good way of gauging a minimum amount of activity. Yeah, that you can use that as a gauge. Is Zumba considered as exercise? Yes, of course. Yes, if you enjoy it. Yeah. More leafy vegetables can have high in calcium. Well, yes, the vegetables that are high in calcium would be like broccoli, kailan, spinach, but the quantity is massive, okay? Instead of 1 cup of milk, it would be 1.5 cups of cooked vegetables. It's a little mountain of vegetables. Yeah, so if it is not very practical, it's good to have green vegetables, but if you need to depend on green vegetables for calcium, it's not very practical. Yeah. Do we need vitamin K for bones? I mean, vitamin K is important, but not perhaps specifically for bone maintenance. What timing is it good to be out in the sun? Not really, no. I think it can be either early morning or evening. It doesn't have to be in the midday blazing sun. Yeah, as even a little bit of setting sun is hot enough as long as there's some sunlight on your skin. Bones are no longer growing after 20, then how taking about calcium, 20 to 35 years, yes, the bones are stable, okay? And but from 35 years old, we start losing calcium. So the reason why we need to take calcium now, even though we cannot pack in anymore, even though the bones cannot be stronger, is that we are replacing what is lost every day. Yeah. Is strolling, walking? Yes. Okay. Yeah, for half an hour. Excellent. K2, I'm not sure what you mean by K2. Maybe you can, I'm not sure what you referring to that. Is eating oat cereal good for calcium? Not particularly. It is a good carbohydrate food. Yeah, the fiber is good for managing cholesterol levels. Yeah, not so much for the calcium is what you add in. Yeah, so when you add in either oat milk or rice dream or cow's milk, yeah, it brings in the calcium. What is the time gap between consumption of calcium food or supplements? I'm not really sure whether there needs to be perhaps a different timing. Yes, yeah, there is a limit to absorption. Yeah, so it might be best as long as it's a different timing, maybe a 2 to 3 hour gap. If a person has gout, they are advised to refrain taking soya. That is true. That is true. Yeah, I didn't mention about that. That if you are sensitive to gout, then best not to take too much soya products. Yeah, so you need to take the other foods for calcium. How do we know if our body is able to absorb calcium from food? Hard for me to be able to answer that though, because I'm not sure whether there's any way of us knowing that. Yeah. Yeah, sorry about that. I would not know. For ikan bilis, usually we used to cook soups. We need to eat and drink soups. Yeah, of course, if the ikan bilis is in the soup and it disintegrates, then it's a little bit hard to tell. Okay. Yeah, you have to eat it. Yeah. Okay. Okay, this is ensure Nutrivogo once a day enough calcium. I'm not really sure though. I'm not sure about the amount of calcium in that, so I can't comment. So I'm in my 60s, so recommended by doc to take 1000 milligrams. Yes, yes. What do you recommend? Exactly what I've talked about today. Yeah, so 3 portions of a high calcium food. All right. Tofu better than tau kwa. Now, tau kwa is firm. So you find that even at that is a massive piece of tau kwa. Okay, so if you take silken tofu, there is a lot of water in it, and the amount equivalent to 1 glass of milk is an even bigger amount. All right, so not practical. Yeah, take it if you enjoy it, fine. But I think if you have to depend on taking 1 portion of a silken tofu, it's really a ginormous amount, right? Yeah, I didn't bring to show you today. Okay, anything else? Apart from sardines, anchovies and ikan bilis. Okay, those are the other fishes. Does vegetable juicing helps getting more calcium? Well, as long as it has some of the green vegetables, but you may not be able to juice that much. Otherwise, you'll be like, again, a humongous amount of vegetable juice. Yeah. Yeah. So do include the green vegetables, but to depend on it for calcium maybe is a bit impractical. Please provide examples of food needed for daily requirement. I did show you some examples, all right, in the slide for vitamin D. So it's very hard for me to comment if you've given a recommendation in terms of vitamin D. Yeah, so it's I can't make any comments about that. Do you need to take vitamin D supplements? Ideally, again, the recommendation is always natural first. Okay, so milk, fish, okay, natural first, sunlight. Then if you need to, when you want to take a calcium supplement very often, it is together with vitamin D, okay? Swimming gives exposure to sun. Yeah, I guess so, yes. Yeah, it can be. I'm not sure about the absorption rate, whether if the sunlight is on other parts of the body. I wouldn't think so. It's just that it is most practical, right? For us to have exposure on the face and arms. Yeah. Can calcium be taken with food? Calcium supplement, you mean? Might be best to take it at a separate time. Yeah, just to increase the absorption. Yeah. Okay, blood tests. No, so the blood test is different. Blood test, calcium is different. It does not show you how strong your bones are. Yeah, so that you have to do a DEXA scan, yeah, a bone density test. I won't be able to comment about whether calcium citrate is better than calcium carbonate, though. Yeah, sorry. Okay. What other supplements to complement? No, you can tell I'm not really into supplements unless there is a need. Yeah, so always natural first. Okay. Would I recommend Japanese natto? Yes, I suppose it can be a source of calcium. Yeah, but again, the quantity will be large. So you take it if you enjoy, but to depend on it may be a bit difficult. Yeah, quantity may be very big. Is the tangkwa bought from wet markets contain calcium? Yes, of course. Yeah, so the only one is the tawai tree, the soya drink from the hawker center. Yeah, but otherwise tangkwa bought from the market or from the supermarket is the same. Yeah. I take 2 cups of coffee a day. Would that affect my calcium absorption? Well, as long as you don't have an excessive amount of coffee, because it does inhibit the absorption of calcium. Yeah, I guess not more than 2. Yeah, so in fact, not more than 3. Yeah, it is advisable. How long to soak ikan bilis? Well, not too long. I guess it might just totally disintegrate. Yeah, just soak enough for you to get out of a little bit of the excess salt. If you love ikan bilis, then yes, it's good to consider as one portion. Then if you are taking a calcium supplement, you may not need to take 1,000 milligrams, you see. Yeah, there are different levels of calcium supplement, right? That's why you need to see a doctor, do a bone scan, and then after that, find out what your calcium requirement is. Okay, tau hui, yeah, tau hui has calcium, but because of the amount of water in it, yeah, the amount is also quite a lot. Okay, yeah, so also not very practical, but do enjoy tau hui. Dried small prawns, no. Okay, dried small prawns is not in the same category as fish. Okay. Tea, yes, coffee, tea, excessive amount of tea, coffee does inhibit calcium absorption. So by all means, we can enjoy coffee, tea, yeah, but try not to take too much, no more than 2 or 3 cups a day. How about big fish bone soup containing calcium? No, because very likely you can't eat the bones. Yeah, so no, it's not high in calcium. What type of vegetable is high calcium? Dark green, broccoli, kailan, spinach, for example. Is it possible to take too much high calcium food? Not really, I think. Most of us generally take far too little. Yeah, unless we are drinking gallons and gallons of milk. But otherwise, generally not. Yeah. Okay, are there any more questions? Is excessive calcium intake harmful? It's harmful in the sense that it can cause kidney stones, yeah? Extremely painful. So yeah, not good. Okay, I think I've answered most questions. Is there any other questions? Oh, is there some more? Sorry, yeah. Krill, tiny small shrimps containing calcium. It will have, but it's not in the same category. Okay, you will notice why it's only small fish is the edible bones. Yeah, so any seafood that you can't eat the bones is not high in calcium. Okay. What snacks are good for calcium? Ikan bilis, fried ikan bilis, I guess. But otherwise, no. Most other snacks, no. Unless, yeah, no. Nuts, not really. Not really high in calcium. Okay. And do I have any more questions? MC?
Thank you, Ms. Choo, for sharing. And thank you, attendees, for attending the talk. We hope you have enjoyed the session and hope to see you soon in other webinars that we'll be organizing. If you have any other inquiries and if you are interested in the content that was shared earlier, feel free to drop us an email at mediacontact@sata.com.sg or call our online 6244-6688. I repeat, 6244-6688. Stay safe and healthy, everyone. Take care.
Take care. Bye.